I happen to have this brick of the Phandelver and Below miniatures from our friends over at WizKids, and I thought, why not go ahead and open that up? And instead of doing an opening just like in a video, which I normally will do, and ultimately this will get cut up and thrown on YouTube at some point, I thought we could just do it live, right? See what happens. So go through these together. So anyway, what's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here. As mentioned, we've got our Phandelver and Below brick. For those of you who don't know how these works, a brick is 8 boxes of miniatures from WizKids. These are their Icons of the Realms. If you're confused about that name, Icons of the Realms is just basically the name for the D&D official branded miniatures. The way these work is you'll usually get sets launching within a relatively close time frame to a book or campaign being released. You'll also get occasional evergreen minis that come out, which are just like, you know, desert minis or forest minis or, you know, just monsters from the monster manual we haven't seen in a while. And the way these work is each box contains 4 miniatures. You usually get one larger size, could be large, probably large is going to be the cap on these boxes. They usually have bigger ones that go up to huge size, like, excuse me, for the Bigby's Glory of the Giants minis, for example. And then it'll have 3 small miniatures. We're also taking any questions, comments people want to throw out there. Feel free while I go ahead and do this. But let's go ahead and dive into our first box here. See these, you might see these hanging up in your local game store. A lot more tape on these boxes than there used to be. Tape on the top and the bottom. All right. First box. Large size miniature for this is, thank you for the follow, the Hook Horror, which I believe we've received Hook Horror miniatures from WizKids in the past, but I really like the color grading on this particular miniature. These sort of like light purples. Really digging the design on this. And again, for those who don't know, all WizKids, all these also now come with desiccant packs in the boxes. All WizKids miniatures are actually hand painted. I thought, like probably many of you, that they were just like an injection mold. No, they're all hand painted, which is why you might see variation between the different ones. I will say, you know, thanks to WizKids for sending this over for review purposes. But again, my opinions on this are my own. I really am digging the design on this hook horror. Look at the detail. Just really, really great detail there. All right, next up we have Neznar. Excuse me. Neznar the Spider. This is, I think, sometimes also called the Black Spider. This is wielding, again, the spider staff. Oops. As you can see there. A character from Phandelver and Below was also present in the Lost Mines of Phandelver. Next up, we have a Psionic Ashen White, which again, when we finally get around, maybe that's what we'll do with one of these days of streaming, is we'll go back and make all the videos that I said I was going to make, like covering the Bigby's Glory of the Giant monsters from G through Z, and covering the monsters from Phandelver and Below. Get all those monsters out of the way. Ooh, and then a Flame Skull. Very tiny miniature in size, but, you know, a fair amount of detail, honestly, for what it's worth. I am also a sucker for translucent effects. I'm going to call that a pretty solid box overall. I also haven't really taken the time to inspect what is contained in this particular miniature set. So I don't actually know what we have as options for what we can get in here. But I'm excited for what I just see right here. We have an ochre jelly. And that might be the winner right there. That's a phenomenal miniature. Look at that. Just like a sentient, more nasty looking ochre jelly. I mean, I guess all jellies are kind of to some degree. You know, oozes are somewhat sentient, but that, fantastic. Next up, we have a corrupted villager. Nothing too crazy here. I think there's a couple different options for corrupted villagers. You can see it's basically a Two-Face is essentially what it reminds me of. A villager with part of its body kind of starting to transform into this reddish color here again. Oh, well, we don't really need to go over this one too much. We got another psionic ashen white. That is also a thing that happens. These are blind box miniatures. There is always the potential to get duplicates. There's no guarantee with the purchase of a brick that you will get everything or everything that you want. And we also have a goblin Psi Commander here, which is really cool with the translucent shield that it's putting up here. The psionic shield. I really like that miniature quite a bit. All right, that's all for box 2. Let's move on to box number 3. So far, I'm liking this set. Got some decent miniatures that are just applicable in everyday use, not just specifically to the adventure itself. Now, speaking of that, we have the Etten Theromorph. So this is, again, what happens when a Mind Flayer tadpole is input into an Etten, which proves to be difficult for the Mind Flayer tadpole for the purpose of Ceremorphosis because of the 2 heads. So you get sort of this creature instead of a more traditional Mind Flayer. We have... Who is this? We have a Drow Matron Mother. So again, this is obviously useful in this particular campaign. Also useful if you're, doing anything Underdark related, Out of the Abyss. You might get a decent amount of use out of a Matron Mother miniature. Also, that's a pretty good tongue twister, Matron Mother miniature. Classic wolf. Just a regular old wolf mini. But also, I love the increased detail and like facial features and things I can see on this wolf. I feel like we're really getting a decent amount of quality out of these miniatures. And then our last miniature from box number 3. Is that Drizzt? No, sorry. Drow Assassin. You'll forgive me. I saw the dual blades and the green cloak. We have a Drow Assassin. Also, again, Drow can be, obviously, you want to use them to represent Drow in your game, but obviously they could represent any kind of standard humanoid, kind of soldier or unit that you need to use. We have a Grick Alpha. This is pretty nice because this is actually one of the miniature looks that I got to preview and show off the sculpt for from WizKids. They sent that over to me to do the preview and a mini reveal. I think I've always liked Gricks in Dungeons and Dragons. I always thought they were a really cool looking enemy. And even ever since 3rd edition, I always thought they were cool. We have a helmed horror here. We see a little bit of, again, the translucent glow in between the armor sections there. Also, again, a decent amount of quality for the helmed horror. We have a Drow Shadowblade. So again, yeah, if you're running a Drow-based campaign or an Underdark-based campaign, these miniature sets might be the ones for you because of the sheer amount of miniatures you're getting that are Drow. Then we just got a very different looking zombie than we've seen. Usually the zombies that we see in D&D are very like decayed and very kind of grayish in nature, like the skin's really old. This looks to be a more recently turned zombie, which is pretty cool to see, or recently raised. Getting a little variety there for you. All right. We go to box number, what is this? 4, 5? 5. What do we got here? This one's rolling around. Came loose. Beautiful. We have a blue Slod miniature. That is a nice miniature. I'm a big fan of this gentleman here. Very cool. I don't think I have a blue Slod. I don't know if we've actually even seen a blue Slod in the WizKids miniatures thus far. I think we've seen red and maybe green. So seeing the blue Slod is a nice touch. We also just have no frame of reference on the size there. Just a regular old goblin. We have... oh, a Dwergar zombie. And then lastly, we have a Grimlock. So again, some more Underdark, Dark Place generic miniatures, but then also some more of the funky stuff that you expect from the Shattered Obelisk part of Phandelver with things like the blue Slod there. All right, we're down onto box number 6 here. Let's see what we get. Okay, again, a unique miniature. We're doing good. We have a giant spider. So I guess arachnophobia warning. But they made it purple, which I feel is an odd color choice. Like purple and pink. It looks more like a Pokemon than a giant spider. But all right. Right? Yeah, it is not it Scorpio in the chat here. It is not your traditional spider. We have an elf zombie here, so we're getting again more varieties in our zombies. He is a very derpy boy. Agreed. We got another duplicate here in the Grimlock. Do you think... I'm wondering if the spider color change is because of arachnophobia? Oh, we have another zombie here, but a different sculpt on this zombie. I'm wondering if it's because people maybe wouldn't want to see the traditional, like, black or gray spider, so they made him purple and pink so that it doesn't trigger people. Which, I mean, unless I missed something in my read-through of Phandelver and Below, that all of the giant spiders contained in Phandelver and Below happen to be purple and pink for some reason, which I'm not discounting the possibility that they are. Maybe. But, like, I don't know. Like, we got like golden orb weavers or spiders that exist in the real world. They're yellow and black. And I'm not saying there aren't multicolored, garish, nature color spiders in actual nature. But I wonder, I don't know, somebody get Ed Greenwood on the line. Are the giant spiders of the Forgotten Realms traditionally pink and purple? Discount pink equals residue psychic energy from mind flare. Yeah, I mean, that might be, right? You're getting some sort of mind flayer-ish nature to the spiders. I don't know. It's an odd choice. It's an odd choice, but it's one they made. All right, now this is one I wanted, but I already have because it came in the limited edition box set. But this is also another one of my favorites here, is the Otyugh Mutate. So it obviously takes the traditional Otyugh miniature and turns it into like a cool translucent green. I'm also realizing that I might like all of the translucent magical effects because I'm a millennial and grew up in the 90s when see-through everything was a thing, and like see-through things in different colored plastic, right? I mean, here's your, your green, here's your orange, right? We've got our orange and green see-through. Like this could be, like your house phone where you could see all the internal bits. So I'm wondering if that's why I like these figures so much. Ooh, we have a halfling zombie. I really like this one because it's got literally an axe sticking out of its head. That's pretty funny. It also looks very much like an Evil Dead Deadite zombie. So that's pretty cool. That's the vibe it gives to me, especially with that face. Right? You guys see that? Like, tell me that doesn't give you Evil Dead Deadite vibes from that zombie. Which, again, this is like the third or fourth. We've gotten a Dwergar zombie, an elf zombie, 2 other zombies of different varieties, and now this halfling zombie. Oh, we also have a very sweet-looking troglodyte sculpt. Look at the detail on this troglodyte mini. Digging that. And then the last one in this is a psionic goblin here. So this is a goblin kind of wielding the green flame blade, as it were, and some green psionic energy. And we're already on to our... Ooh, jeez. Don't knock the whole camera over, Ted. Well, I guess I did do that, but... Anyway. We're on to our last box of this set. Let's see what we get. Oh, looks like we got something unique. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Young Amethyst Dragon. There's a pretty nice winner for a final box opening here. Our young Amethyst Dragon. That's a beauty. That is one for the collection. So that I'm very excited for. And then let's see what our other options are for the smaller ones in this particular set. We just have a traditional drow. No specialty, no variety, no assassin, no matron mother. Ooh. Another variety of zombie. This looks to possibly be like a druid zombie. This one has like a spear or something through its neck. Lots of zombie variety here. And then our last miniature in this brick is a Sturge. Oh, just a little Sturge. Yeah, like a ballista bolt, right? Yep, exactly, right through the head there. And I also like that you can see the skin. It's kind of coming off the mouth there. You can see the skull underneath, or at least like the upper jaw. But yeah, I mean, this was a solid brick. I mean, we got a couple of duplicates, but they're not things that I would regret having duplicates of. Obviously, the variety in the zombie is really nice to have so many different kinds of zombies. From different races to just different versions of different zombies. I think we got a couple of Ashen Whites and a couple of Grimlocks. But the big minis from this set, we got some real winners, right? We got our Amethyst Dragon, which we're a big fan of. We got our Ochre Jelly, which we like a lot. We got our Blue Slod, which we're going to push these guys all the way to the back. We got our Blue Slod. We got our Etten Ceromorph. We got our Otiug Mutate. The Hook Horror. And then, oh, we got the Grick Alpha. And then everybody's favorite, the Derpy Purple Spider. I mean, that is a solid set of miniatures. Just for the big ones alone, not even including all the variety in the smaller options. So, I'm a fan. This particular WizKids set definitely won me over. So, I'm going to say nicely done, WizKids, on the miniatures for the Phandelver and Below set. We also covered it yesterday with the premium figure for the Phandelver and Below set is the Hydra, which is also very nice. So we really like that Hydra as well, which works as like an oceanic style Hydra that also fits size-wise appropriately with the Falling Star sailing ship, the kind of large pirate ship that WizKids released a few years back, which is nice to see things that are still like making sure we're going backwards compatible with older miniatures, which is nice. But yeah, I think this gets just a resounding win from me on the Phandelver and Below miniatures. So nicely done, WizKids. $160 does seem like a lot, but that might just be inflation or, you know, the increase in the overall cost of producing these miniatures. But yeah, $160 for 8 bricks, which will get you 8 obviously large size miniatures and then 24 small size miniatures, which again, you know, you're getting a decent amount. You just don't really know what you're going to get. When I look at, can I open this up any bigger? No, it doesn't look like it. But when I look at the set, the only thing I see in here that I might like to have more would potentially be the Roper and the Cloaker. I do love a good Cloaker. But I think for the most part, we got a lot of the wins on the big size figures for this set, which is pretty nice to see.